Hey, boys and girls, we have so much stuff to cover, but I'm not sure how much we're going to cover. But I did tease Icarus with an anti-vax story, and I just okay. I'm not gonna mention who it is, but I guess I did in chat. But okay, there was a new
link out.
What was that?
I'm gonna put the link out if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So there was a news story that came out a couple of days ago that the average cost of a COVID hospitalization is $85,000. Now, just to give you an idea of how this misinformation is getting lodged in people's minds. So that's a news story about the average cost of a COVID hospitalization. You know, you get COVID, you go into the hospital, you stay there for 2 to 4 weeks. And it costs $85,000, and of course, your insurance company pays for that, right? So, anyway, this individual heard that, and there's this conspiracy that when somebody dies of cancer or COPD or emphysema, that they are calling it a COVID death, because somehow in their minds they think that they don't get that $85,000 unless they say it's a COVID death. So it's almost like they think the government is paying a bonus to hospitals if they have COVID deaths, right? Do you follow me here? Am I making?
Yeah, but why would they even?
Yeah.
Like that
But
makes
that's
no
what they
sense. It's
think.
an insurance
Yeah.
company would be paying for what the hell?
They're going to pay for it no matter what you die
Right.
of, right?
Right.
If you're in the hospital for 2 weeks and it costs $85,000, they're going to pay that bill. They don't pay you because your patient died. They pay you because your patient stayed in the hospital,
right?
Alive.
Who gives a shit what they
You
have?
don't-
It doesn't matter what they have.
Yeah,
Right?
but somehow they got it like misconstrued so that it's a bonus, so that they're making up COVID statistics, and that it has some sort of. That's one idea, and the other idea is
misinformation. Don't say it ain't so, Speed.
Yeah, I know. The other thing is this fertility thing, that somehow would affect that women can't have children if they get the vaccine. And I heard other, why, and this one I don't know about, but if you happen to get a bypass and they use a vein from a pig or, from some donor animal or, person, that doctors are saying you shouldn't get the vaccine. And I just don't think any of this is true, because I don't see how that would have any effect at all. Most of the, it's my understanding, and it's limited, that most of the vaccine goes into your muscles in your arm, and that's where it starts producing antibodies. Of course, it's going to end up in other places in the body, but I mean, what do you do, and it's like, and then it's like, okay, because the hospitals in northern Minnesota are going to fire all the workers who aren't vaccinated. They're going to fire them, which is exactly what I think they should do.
Yeah.
And I'm even harsher than that as far as who should get vaxxed. I think it should actually be a law.
Yeah.
That you get vaccinated.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just
there's some crazy one. I mean, you see them, some of them talking about it in chat. I think it was somebody in Jay's chat. It was chaos. It was a chaos theory or something the person went by, and they were talking about, it's the mark of the beast. I'm not going to get stuck with the mark of the beast, and just crazy ass shit like that. Yeah.
Apparently, I died in September because I got vaccinated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Why am I still working?
I know.
Hey, midnight.
I should be getting some life insurance. I should get a bonus, right?
It would be nice.
That'd be
Well,
nice.
Speed, I have some. I have a comment to say. You say it should be a law to vaccinate people.
Yeah.
What about what about the one who are immune deficient? Is that, I think that's what it is, immune compromise.
Obviously, the law isn't going to apply to them midnight. I mean, obviously, there are going to be exceptions.
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty easy.
I'm insulted. You almost called me immutable.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Did I really?
Yes, almost.
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
Like Jesus
Sorry.
Christ. I like immutable and all, but no.
Yeah, I call him the smoky sucker.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, I do.
God, I still want to make some jokes, but it'll bring up a shit show. So never
Right.
mind.
So apparently LPP saw my Ben Gould thing and decided to make a big stream about pudding brain.
Wait, aren't you pudding brain?
Yeah, I'm pudding brain. But anyway, Maddox is he's an idiot. That's enough said.
Yeah.
But apparently,
I mean, okay, Speedy, can I just comment on something?
Maddox being an idiot.
Well, yeah. What good does it do calling them idiots? I know they call us idiots, but what good? What good does that do?
It's kind of like a tit for tat. I just said he's calling me pudding brain over and over again, so I called him an idiot. Is that fair? I mean, do I get to do that? But
I mean,
the thing is,
do you approve?
The thing is that he really is an idiot.
right? But just because he is an idiot doesn't
So I'm
mean
just
you have to
pointing.
call him one.
Okay, do you know what an idiot is? Okay, ignorant is when you don't know something. Arrogant is when you don't know something and you put it out there like you know everything. And idiot is when you combine arrogance with a willful ignorance and stupidity. Basically, stupidity is ignorance plus arrogance. I think that kind of defines it. Makes sense to me anyway.
I'm just saying. I personally don't think.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about that bitch.
Since you're worried about the idiot thing, why don't you go get your shot midnight?
What? Midnight hasn't had a vax?
Nah, he's afraid of the poke.
I never said I was afraid of the
Fucking
Pope.
kidding me?
Oh, for
Dr.
fuck's
Jason,
sake.
how are you doing?
He likes to be poked
Hey,
a little bit.
David. Yeah.
Yay. Yeah.
Leo,
That was,
Leo,
that was
how are
Scott. I'm
you?
sorry.
You know what, Leo? I'm glad I hear. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Did you get my tweet?
Yes, I did. I actually just finished looking over that article.
Nice. Did you like it? What you think?
It seems like he's presenting an idea that's been around since the very late 1800s, as if it's like a novel idea.
Well,
This idea of relationalism came
yeah,
about
not many people.
with electromagnetism.
Yeah,
and
but
the Lorentz transformations. We knew that things in space-time kind of had to be relative to one another, and then that led people like Heinrich Lorentz and Henry Poincaré to develop various models, but they weren't the greatest models. And then Einstein came along in 1905 with special relativity, showing that actually things in space-time can only be defined in terms of their relativity to other objects, hence the name relativity. I mean, yeah, it's just it seems I didn't really like the way, and this is common in science communication, because of what they do. I don't really consider science communication science popularization.
Well, hold on. I wanted to say, like, I do admit that that the title of it is kind of clickbaity, but I did enjoy the article anyway.
I didn't think it was a bad article, but
What was the thing you said about science communications? You don't like?
Most outlets don't actually reasonably communicate science. What they do is they popularize it. They don't really communicate it. If you go to a lot of the really good science communication channels on YouTube, especially with physics, what you see them saying is not what these articles say. I can't tell you how many articles I've read claiming that quantum mechanics has proven there's no objective reality. That's never been a thing that quantum mechanics has proven, ever. That's just really, really shitty communication of these concepts, which is why I do what I do. That's what got me into doing what I do.
Hey, real quick, Randolph has to go off and get some supplies, but he's going to give us an update on the progress of his studio.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I hired a lady who has 13 years experience in roofing, and she came in today, put tar paper all over the roof. She said the way the roof is built feels very safe. It's very solid. And because she commented, there's quite a few homeowners who don't know how to build the roof properly. So I guess I got it right, and I used screws instead of nails. So I think David here has been watching me do this stuff, and he's been giving me some commentary and suggestions as well, which have been helpful. So tomorrow we're getting the roofing shingles on, and so I just have to go get a few supplies for a couple of little minor detail things, but they might as well be done before we put the shingles on.
Yeah. Are you using asphalt shingles, Randolph?
I don't know. She's getting something that matches the rest of our roof, and she said one of the problems with the completely black shingles is they absorb more heat. So we're getting the kind that are matching the color of our roof, which is kind of a gray color, a grayish brown color.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It took her less than an hour to put all the tar paper on the roof, and that's really good. She said, so it's I wouldn't have been able to do it that fast. So
good evening, Randolph. Or
good evening, midnight, Sparkle.
I guess it's still afternoon where you are. I don't know. It's still
it's evening. It's almost 7 o'clock where he's at.
Yeah, 1843 here. So almost as what Leophilia said, almost right on the mark there. So we're on Pacific time zone here.
You get a lot of snow and ice where you are, Randolph?
In the wintertime, we may get it for a few weeks at a time. Back in the 80s, we'd usually get it for months at a time. So it's gradually the winters have been getting shorter and shorter here. But when we do get snowfall, usually we'll either get slush or we'll get a really nice powdery snow that builds up about, I guess that would be about 10 inches in Imperial. So, yeah, it's really nice when that happens because the kids get to have a lot of fun in the snow, and it causes a lot of people to not drive who probably shouldn't be driving at any time anyway.
I really fucking hate the snow. That's why I want to move to Ireland. They don't get a lot of snow because snow is annoying. And if you've ever had to drive,
guys, Leo. Jesus Christ, Leo, just listen when I talk. Okay, I'm going to step away for a minute. Hopefully you guys can get all this out of your system, and then we'll talk about what's happening here.
Me to tell me that.
And I'm going to head off. Thank you for having me on to give an update. Take care, everyone.
See you, Randolph.
Before the store closes. Otherwise, I'd hang around longer. Yep. Take care.
I'll be back in a minute. Guys, bye, Randolph.
Andrew wants to come in too.
Well, yeah, but hold on a second. I want to say, Leo. You know what? I love the snow because I can hide in it.
Okay, I don't like the snow because
you know what? Fucking the joke is ruined.
It sucks to drive in it. It sucks to walk in it. It sucks to live in it.
Yes, but the joke was that I'm an albino and I can hide in it. That was the joke.
I bet I could find you.
Have you ever skied or snowboarded?
Nope, don't want to. Snow sports are boring me because the snow and the cold fucking suck. I'd rather float down the river.
Oh my god!
High as bat pussy on mushrooms with a cold beer in my hand. Than fucking
bat
ski.
Pussy? What the fuck did you?
I'm kind of with you. I mean, since I've been in Idaho, I have been more into skiing and snowboarding, etc.
You're damn right, Idaho.
Yeah, it takes time to get used to, but once you do, it can be really fun.
I mean, I've done skiing before. I'm not saying it's not fun. I would rather do summer sports than winter sports because I don't have to be bundled up in all this fucking shit clothing. I can just put on some trunks.
The sun is my enemy.
Just float.
I get that.
With a beer in my hand.
The sun is my enemy.
Oh yeah,
that's gotta suck. I gotta be on that. Really, that has to suck.
It does suck.
I bet it does.
But I could sympathize because as a redhead, I have to like watch the sun and
Okay.
Yeah.
So no offense,
not the
Jason,
same.
but redheads are diet albinos. Okay, it's not the same thing.
No,
All right.
I think it's different.
That's
I
the
think it's
no
different.
true albino fallacy.
Yes.
Nice.
So where did Speed go to feed his rackins?
Probably. That's what I'm thinking.
He got heavily sidetracked by other people wanting to say things.
I see he didn't bring Andrew in either.
Well, Andrew's resisting the idea.
Oh well, I mean, if he doesn't want to come in,
Yeah,
He
we can't
doesn't want
force
to
him
come
to come
in, you know.
in, but
Yeah.
I mean, we
Well,
could force him, but
he
we're
was
just not dicks.
He was just talking to Little Peepee and on
I would say
Tangelo.
come on in,
Where at?
Andrew.
Yes.
If you're
Where was he
talking
talking?
about it,
Where was he
Andrew
talking to
Andrew
them
needs Andrew needs counseling. He needs
Yeah.
to come in. Basically,
Otangelo
I
alive or
sent him a link.
We need to talk about this, Andrew. Come in.
Wait, hold on. Nobody's at, like, was Otangelo alive or something like that?
No.
LPP was, and he had
Oh.
Otangelo and Andrew on at the same time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know if anybody noticed, but I had a couple of science videos that played today.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's still alive. Okay.
Yeah, you got that mesh code guy to talk to. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What
So
is
Yeah,
mesh
he was.
code?
Who is this guy? Like, what's his background? What does he
Ben
know? What does
Gould?
he believe? Yeah, I don't know
He's
who this is.
Molecular biologist. He works on proteins at the cell surface that attach to other, basically cell surface attachments. So that's kind of his main field.
So Speed, did you get any? Like I watched it, but I didn't watch the whole thing. But like the parts that I watched, I'm just curious. Did you ask him specifically about his thoughts on people using this type of research to make inferences around an intelligent designer and God? Did he talk about that at all? Or
he said he didn't even know what a young Earth creationist was.
Oh yeah,
He had not, he didn't realize that, and he talked a lot about cells being machines, and he didn't. I don't think in Kent, where he's in the UK. I don't think it's on his radar. Yeah. So it was kind of interesting.
That makes sense.
And, and he is a little bit agnostic, about abiogenesis, but I don't think he's agnostic at all about evolution or everything that happened after the cell was
What do you mean
formed.
he's agnostic on abiogenesis? Like he thinks
he doesn't understand how a cell could have formed abiotically. Okay.
I don't think anybody understands how that could happen.
Right.
So
but until he understands it, he's gonna maintain agnosticism about whether or not there was something else, or that there's something else about physics that we need to discover, or whatever. So, I think that was the point.
That doesn't seem like agnosticism. I guess I'm failing to see what it is specifically he's agnostic on.
You'd have to ask him specifically.
Weird.
I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to speak for him. Yeah, we're going to have him back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about.
When you have him back, you should lay the foundation that, if he's not familiar, that many people on YouTube take science efforts that like his work, and they use his research as justification for supernatural, like godlike, intelligent design constructs. And you should ask him, like, if he's not familiar with that, what's his take on individuals doing that?
Being used that way, right?
Yeah, because he may be like, he's just like you were saying, he may be like, don't care, not interested, totally really not part of my research. Frankly, it's a lot of scientists are like that. They're like, look,
and it sucks.
I don't give a shit what those people think. I don't even think about it because I'm busy with other things. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
it really does suck to me. I wish more scientists were like the kind that like Sean Carroll are, and that many others are. Where if the science that they're specialized in is being misused, they come out and say, wait, no, hold on, no, you're not doing this right. This is not how this works. Too many scientists are like, yeah, I don't care. And then that's why people like Deepak Chopra rise, is because of it.
Carroll is in a league of his own. That
Mhm.
guy, he's not only is he a great scientist, but he's such a great communicator, and he's so relaxed and
Who is
like
this?
Sean Carroll.
Sean
Oh,
Carroll.
Sean Carroll. Okay.
Oh, he's and when I have seen his like people, like I think the Veritasium guy came and interviewed him in his office about some topics, and he was just so approachable. I mean, there's no wonder he's at a Caltech, because he's just really he's awesome.
I actually don't think he's at Caltech anymore. I think he left to kind
really?
of like do his own thing. He
Oh,
didn't really
shit.
know where he was going to go, which he doesn't. He doesn't need a fucking university attached to him anyway. So.
I mean, last time I checked, his faculty page is still up on.
Yeah, he might still be there right now, but I thought I remember him making a post about that he was planning on leaving and just kind of doing his own thing and going wherever he lands. That he didn't really. He kind of gave that in like I'm not really looking for anything. Wherever I feel like I fit well.
I mean, it could be that like the university is like just continuing to have his page up because it benefits them.
Like I said, a university would benefit from him. He wouldn't benefit from a university, at least not in the same way one would benefit from him.
He could go wherever he wants to.
Mm-hmm. And it sucks because back in, I think it was the early mid 2000s, he was denied tenure at the University of Chicago, which when I found that out, I was actually kind of shocked by that. Chicago's prestigious, and they've got a very prestigious physics and astrophysics program. I was surprised to hear that.
So they denied him tenure. He must have just left.
Denied tenure doesn't mean that necessarily he didn't leave or anything like that, and he rejected it. I mean, because no university is going to say, "Oh, this person rejected a tenure offer." Universities aren't going to say that. They're going to say the person was denied tenure.
He didn't. You don't think he didn't reject it? Like they didn't give it.
It depends. It depends at that time, like what his research interest was. It could be that if his particular area of research, which most of it, is very early, in non-inflation cosmology, but something.
He's quantum gravity and early universe cosmology.
Now he is. Yeah, now he is. Now he's wanting to work on his main research
he's
interest
been researching that since he's been in the field. Earlier on, he was more focused on general relativity and things like that. But he's always been interested in the early universe. He's always been a theoretical cosmologist.
Yeah, his current interests now are he wants to try and play a little bit more with the Everettian interpretation of quantum mechanics and see if they can get that get that formulation of quantum mechanics to give rise to other branches of physics.
So I just Googled this, and there's a discussion that Sean Carroll wrote a bitter guide called "How to Get Tenure at a Major University," and he's got things
one of his more controversial articles.
Yeah, don't write a book, don't be too well known outside the field, all these things that if you're a populist, you're people are he's too well known. He's been writing books. They're
Well,
not interested.
You want to know what it really is that I think is because he's one of those, and it's not to say that he's got fringe ideas or anything like that. I mean, he's within the mainstream on what he talks about and what he understands and what he's researching and everything. But he's one of those that kind of pushes the boundaries. He's an Everettian. You would be very, very hard pressed to find one of those.
Not nowadays.
Well, actually, yeah, the Everettian interpretation is not really well liked. Physicists don't. Well, sure, but that doesn't mean that it's well liked. It's the second most popular, but that doesn't mean that most physicists use it. There are some that are partial to it, but they don't. It's not something that they're really serious about. Most physicists are just we stick with what the textbook quantum mechanics.
Yeah. I mean, historically though, especially in the more recent years, more of them are becoming more accepting of Everettian quantum mechanics.
I'd say
okay. Back to the
I
current
don't think
topic.
that there's a wave. Anyway, yeah, I think the reason that he that he's talking about what he's talking about is that hey, like, don't kind of shake the field. If you're on the forefront of the field and you're pushing new ideas, novel ideas, and things like that, yeah, you're probably not going to get tenure. Those universities want people that are going to shut up, stay in line, and do what the fuck they tell you to do, and that's just the truth.
Okay,
That's why they need to sell Amway on the side.
Andrew, hello. So you had a little encounter with Otangelo. We didn't. David.
Oh,
listened,
I thought he said LPP.
I thought it was
both of them. Yeah.
LPP just LPP might be having a little bit of a midlife crisis, methinks.
Well, I think it was because I had Ben Golt on, and he was a little upset because he's the one that found that paper. Anyway,
sounds like some jealousy.
Requested to talk to Speed.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
wow,
he reached out to me. So,
by the way, DeFreak, no, that's not what I said.
Who reached out to you, Speed?
Ben Golt, Dr. Ben Golt. Yeah.
That's great. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It was, he's basically got a notification because we referenced his paper, and then he listened.
That's
he
cool.
listened to part of our streams, and his comment was that you guys were saying some interesting things, and then everybody else came in and distracted you from the topic.
Yeah,
which I don't think has ever happened on this channel, has it?
Yeah,
that's a big compliment. That's great.
Yeah. This is why I said yesterday, I think, like, if we would go over like a few more bio papers, especially like from the hydrothermal vent stuff,
and
we might land. What's up?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
No, what I was saying is I think if we like looked into some more diverse topics, like especially regarding origin of life, which is something we've covered before, we might be able to get like one of the bigger researchers like to talk about their perspective or like their own research and thoughts about the origin of life from a different camp.
You know who
like
I'd like
Mike
to talk
Russell
to?
or somebody like that.
Yeah, like if we could get Deemer on,
game,
it'd be cool if we could get Deemer on the show, right? Or Dahmer, maybe Dahmer, but we did have him on the show.
I would like to talk to Gerald Joyce because he's been very, very, very active in the field over the last probably 15, 20 years.
There's another person I'd like to get on too, and what is his name?
Jack Shostak?
He'd be an interesting one to get on as well, but it's a physicist. He's working on non-equilibrium thermodynamics and specifically with the origin of life.
Yeah.
What is his? God, give me a fucking hold on.
So I wanted to talk to Andrew about.
Jeremy England. Jeremy England, I think is his name. Yeah.
So, Andrew, what kind of an experience did you just have?
One that made me feel like a piece of, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's just Maddox being
a piece
being
of
Maddox.
what?
Oh, don't make him say it.
Well, I don't know what he's talking about. A piece of, we could be talking about a piece of a banana, a piece of metal, a piece of wood, like a piece of what? I need
a piece of elephant dung.
Elephant dung. That's a good one. Yep. Anyway,
yeah. So to be that, I guess.
So they were a little harsh with you over there.
Yeah. Well,
of course,
it's complicated. It's
what points were you?
How to explain it? I guess.
What were you going over?
Well, I was trying to talk to him about since you mentioned the genetic code. Things about how the genetic code.
Oh God, of course.
How the genetic code doesn't support the idea of common design and all that.
Oh, here the fuck we go. Oh boy. Yeah, that'll do it to him.
Andrew, after you have conversations with those guys, and if you feel like you're saying you felt like shit afterwards, the first thing you got to say to yourself is, those two dipshits believe the friggin' Earth is 6,000 years old.
Yeah.
God friggin' sprinkled pixie dust on the ground and poof, okay, man, what up?
Andrew,
you got to think about that's who you're talking with. So you can't feel like shit.
Yeah. You're talking to people who believe in magic.
Not.
Literally.
The other thing you have to remember. Oh, go ahead.
That's not. Well, I guess that's part of it, but that's not really the reason why I'm so upset right now.
what's got you in a twist?
Yeah.
Well, kind of
Being-
upset at myself because I keep getting in this circle, for lack of a better word, and I keep thinking that I can actually try and reason with these people, even when I know that I can't. And now I put myself out front here, and this is what happens. And so I guess I'm just upset at myself, for lack of a
Yeah.
better word.
The thing is,
No,
Andrew,
it's-
I had similar aspirations when I first joined YouTube a few years back. But you have to realize part of the reason is their religious commitments are a lot stronger to them than any amount of scientific evidence is. And the other thing as well is, like, what I've learned about with dealing with Otangelo is that it doesn't matter what I say to Otangelo or what I try to teach him regarding chemistry or prebiotic concepts that are relevant to the origin of life. They don't understand it because they've convinced themselves, like Otangelo has said publicly, right, that they understand this topic better than almost anybody else, right? They don't think that they can be corrected. They don't think that they can be corrected, or that their level, or that there's a level of knowledge or description that's more fundamental than what they already understand.
Right.
They've made a conclusion already that what they understand is the end all be all, and they're not going to, unfortunately, right? They're not going to change that perspective because there's people out there, hint hint, knock knock, James Tour, right, who believes the same damn thing.
Cy Garte had a discussion with him.
Yeah, he did, and I mean,
I haven't seen it. I'd like to know how it went.
I'd like to understand why people that actually support evolution are talking with numbnuts like him.
But you have to remember,
who doesn't understand.
Cy might support evolution. He's still a Christian, and he still argues that biology shows that God exists, even if he acts like he doesn't really hold to that and everything. So of course he's going to talk to people like James Stewart.
That's fine. I don't mind that he wants to use biology as a means of trying to convict.
Okay, I found the
convert
video.
people to Christianity.
I'll link
My
it because
big
I know
thing is
Speed wants to see it.
The big issue I have with James Tour is he doesn't understand evolution. He said as much, but he still wants to talk about it as if though he has an understanding of it. And it just makes no sense.
And I need to watch this too because I'd like to see, just to see
What's
how
that?
Cy behaves. That's the link to the discussion that Cy and Tour had. I don't know what it's about. All I know is they had a discussion. I think they were talking about like misconceptions in science or biases in science or something of that sort. Yeah, bias in the scientific community. And I like I said, I think we can all figure out what this is probably about. And I have to be honest, it's kind of sad to see Cy engaging with people like this on these topics because he tries to paint himself as this, I'm a Christian, but I'm a real scientist. I accept the science and I follow the science. But then he talks about stuff like this, which I haven't listened to it. I guess I can't say. Maybe he could be holding James Tour's feet to the fire. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I have a feeling I know how this conversation went. And I do like Cy. I do think he is definitely one of the more reasonable ones. But it's just. And I don't want to make it seem like he's dishonest or something, but I definitely get this vibe that he paints himself as this, I'm a Christian, but I'm still a scientist first.
Yeah.
I follow the science, but then he tries to continuously use the science to show, God is real, God exists. His works are obvious to all of us, and it just.
He posted a video about COVID vaccinations, and it was like Cy Garte.
Oh, Tor did
posted
as well.
a video about what?
Shit.
He posted a video about how you should take the vaccine.
Oh, but the one that capturing.
No, that was Tour. That was Tour.
Wait, no, hold on. Are you talking about the one that Cy did that capturing Christianity posted on there?
I think so. Yeah.
I know. What you're talking about.
In the beginning of it, he was like the video was very. I
thought it was good. It was a good appeal.
It was, but first of all, the title was really effed up. It was like,
Yeah.
It was kind of like trying to suck in people who are anti-vaxxers. But
Yep.
But the beginning of the video, he goes on and on about how he's a lay person in his church and that he's all this church stuff. And like, I think it goes.
No, I think that was Tour, wasn't it?
No, this was
No,
Garte
Cy?
on
It was
Capturing
Cy.
Christianity's channel. Cameron interviewed him, and this is a snippet from that interview
Yeah.
from when he did the CCV1, the first Capturing Christianity conference that was had.
The only thing I would just say is that, like, it, and not to run on about this, but like, I would agree with Leo on this topic, is that he brings up a lot of his own personal religious components. And as a scientist, I mean, if he has those personal views, that's fine. But when you bring that stuff up, like right in combination with your discussions of science, it just doesn't sit well with me. I don't know why.
Yeah,
But it just doesn't.
his book, The Works of His Hands. I haven't read it personally, but I have, and I'm just repeating what I've heard from people that I do know have read it and I can trust have read it, where they said it's not the same as like how a young Earth creationist would argue it. But some of those other, like a Faz Rana or a Hugh Ross, he makes similar arguments to a lot of them. Where, you know, it's, oh, well, all this stuff in biology is so complex and we don't have it figured out. You know, there must have been an intelligence behind it, you know, something along those lines.
I want to acknowledge.
I don't have as
acknowledge
much
that
of an
Gutsy
issue.
Gibbon has entered the room, and hello, Erica.
Hello.
And I just wanted
Erica.
to say really quickly that Immutable, you should turn up your mic a little bit. We can hear you, but you are a little bit quiet.
I don't know what the fuck's up with it. Let me see.
We don't want to hear Immutable.
Just go into the cam mic on StreamYard, click audio, and then at the bottom,
You are
mic volume.
All right, any better?
Yes,
Yeah.
much better.
There
You are
we go.
perfect. You are
That's
perfect.
significantly better.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, I don't have an issue with people making those kind of arguments. My big issues are when people are misrepresenting like the actual science, like that we do understand, like with people trying to claim that the discrepancy in interpretations of quantum mechanics and stuff like somehow validates like hidden variables or points to God.
You mean
kinda
like
just like
inspiring
mucking with the
philosophy
physics
level stuff?
Yeah, like that kind of shit
yes,
I have issue with.
That's the kind of stuff that but if somebody's like pulling a William Lane Craig running the Kalam, sure, I'll have a discussion about that. But it's not like I'm like upset that you're running this argument. I mean, because let's be honest, I don't care whether you like the guy. For the most part, Dr. Craig represents the cosmology fairly well. I'm not saying he gets everything perfect. I'm not saying he doesn't exaggerate certain things. But hey, you know, he for the most part he represents the cosmology fairly well, and I think most do. But when you start getting to inspiring philosophy stuff, and I like inspiring philosophy. In fact, I would say that I think he's probably won more debates than he's lost. He does his homework, but his subjective idealism stuff with quantum mechanics, like we can straightforwardly show that he is misrepresenting what the science says, and he's basing a lot of it off of some fringe physicists who have, you know, kind of pushed this simulation theory style stuff, you know, that well, this looks like it's all information processing in a mind, which is, you know, IP relies heavily on those, specifically those physicists, and you know, the interpretations from other friends that he has that I know who some of them are that do have, you know, some undergraduate degrees in physics, and they are learned in the subject, but they're also theists and they do have, you know, their own biases. You know, it's not, I'm saying that IP is doing something wrong. It's just that I see an imperative to correct the misinformation that he is putting out there about a complex field.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is too, like, I don't mind people saying like, oh, there's things in biology that are really complicated, so, you know, maybe that's a good reason for you guys to consider God as a possibility. Just keep an open mind about it. I don't care people making that type of argument. I mean, I care about when people like Otangelo make an argument of like, oh, well, we know it's impossible. Well, whoa. No. We don't know it's
hold
impossible.
on here. You do know that both me and you, as well as Jason here, when Otangelo talked with him on his channel, have shown Otangelo doesn't know the first thing about statistical analysis.
Yeah.
No, and he doesn't
even the first thing.
He doesn't care. He doesn't, and that's the overarching theme that has taken me far too long
I've got
to
a
realize.
story for you, Erica, when you're done.
But, oh God, is it Otangelo related? I don't think I've taken my blood pressure medication this morning.
No, it's funny.
Well, the thing that it's so sad, but I myself have gone through the steps on this one, and it's almost like a rite of passage at this point for people who come on to talk about this shit. But it's like, you know, you come in, step one is the optimism, right? You're like, well, if they just hear the right information, they'll come around because they're rational people, right?
Yep.
And then you start getting more and more jaded as you realize that you eventually come to the conclusion that it was never about the information, and it never will be for the majority of these people, which totally sucks. But that doesn't mean we should stop trying, because there is a fringe group of individuals who are kind of on the outskirts of that group who are reachable. But I want to like end that kind of statement with like something uplifting. Otangelo, by the way, is a prime example of this. Otangelo will never change his mind. He's a complete lost cause, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you know,
fun to talk to.
I've been teaching for the past several months a biological anthropology lab in a southern state, right? So I teach human evolution
that's rough.
in a southern state. Guys, I haven't had one single person in my lab drop the class or question evolution a single time.
Really?
All they do is ask excellent questions and effectively learn the material. I mean, it can be frustrating because some students are lazy, but none of them, like, there's no religious verb, and that just speaks to how, at least young Earth creationism, it's the death knell.
And don't they sometimes compliment their teacher for teaching the biology really well?
Well, that happens really occasionally, and it leaves me to cry tears of joy walking in my car. But yes, that does happen every now and again. But it was super uplifting. I mean, even talking with my advisor who's been teaching at this university for a long time, and we have a pretty big anthropology department that you know crosses hairs with the bio department and ecology, all that kind of stuff, because it's bioanth, it's natural science. But you know, it's been a long time since they've had, you know, folks who are even remotely educated coming to the school who are actually having a problem with this. They either don't take the class, right, or they take the class and they learn the material. And
when I was,
like, oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, when I was an undergrad, it didn't happen when I took Bio 1, or Bio 2 actually was where it became more of an issue. But we had, like, there were talks about how in several of the sessions being offered, there were students that got kicked out of that course, or were almost kicked out of that course, because they would interrupt, like, when the topic of evolution came about, and like just went fucking ballistic. and the teacher of that course said, like, look, you know, we're not, like, the institution is not going to force you to adopt certain beliefs, but you are not, like, going to, like, interrupt, like, the time allocated for the session.
Yeah.
It would be hold on. It would be as if, like, you had like a quantum physics course at, like, I don't know, Stanford or Yale or MIT, and you put Jen in there. And
oh God.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's about what it would be.
Well, the thing is, if they used to get some, like, naysayers who'd be like, well, you know, my daddy's a preacher and he says that blah 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 blah. But these days, apparently, as the
you talking
Zoomers,
Waterboy style stuff? Well,
I'm talking Waterboy style stuff. But as the Zoomers have come up and usurped the millennials, the Zoomers are just the apathetic generation, so they don't give a shit, and they're like, yeah, okay, science is right, so what? Like, what are you gonna do about it? Which is why I say, you know, if you were gonna see it anywhere, it would be where I'm at right now. I am in the prime position to be seeing, you know, the up and coming young Earth creationists who are going to change the world, and there aren't any.
Wow.
The thing is, though, too, like, we're still going to see a resurgence of young Earth creationists at some point.
Eventually,
like, this is not going to.
We are right now. We're seeing. It's a resurgence, while at the same time not really a resurgence. It's kind of hard to describe. It's a resurgence within a fringe area, and it's happening. Yeah, well, exactly. It's happening with white nationalism and conservatism and traditionalism and you know, nationalism and, you know, protectionism, creationism, conspiracism, all of these things. And you're seeing it primarily from an older, white, male, non-college educated demographic.
Well, and that's,
I think that's really all that needs to be said.
Yeah, you're seeing a few. You're seeing a few.
Why you're seeing it in specifically this demographic, because they're the ones that were raised in a world given a particular narrative, and that narrative is being seriously challenged, if not outright changed, by the way the world is today, and they're scared, and that pushes them into the fringes of an ideology.
I honestly think, though, Leo, that the key word there was old. Like, I hate to be a little ageist here, but like, I feel like
true.
the current like the young people today are just, because they have access to the age of information and were born and shaped by it. They just have had access to all of this info from the dawn of time, no matter how rural they live. And so they don't care. You can't indoctrinate them nearly as easily, but you're right. The ones who are still holding to it are more rabid than ever, which is why the Creation Museum's overall numbers are falling, but they have such a consistent flock. Yeah, they have such a consistent flock who keeps coming back. And I think that pool will continue to shrink as as people die. But but the ones who stay will believe more fervently than ever, just like flat Earth.
Exactly.
It's the same exact thing.
It's as that fringe base gets smaller, it gets louder and more rabid and ravenous because it knows. Like I've maintained this from the time that it happened. The election of Donald Trump in 2016 was the last dying breath of the beast that is conservatism in this country, desperately trying to do anything that it could to save itself, and it's still dying. And so it's that last shot of adrenaline, and it's lashing out with everything it has before it goes. And that's what the January 6th insurrection is. That's what we're seeing the Republican Party turn into. This is going to disappear. I don't think Republicans are going to perform that well in 2022, honestly. I don't think they're going to perform that well in 2024, and that's because of what they're turning into. And if they perform well, it will not be because they're popular. It will be because they suppressed the vote of colored people.
I agree with you.
What they're trying to do.
I agree with you. I don't think they're going to do well, but some of these fuckers want war.
Look, I don't give a shit. They're just some loud. Of these. It's a very, very loud minority. I don't care that some of them want war. They will
insurrection,
and then they will.
Yeah, until they make war.
Loud, and then what will happen is they will get arrested and freak out, and the problem will be solved as this country continues to move forward.
Yeah, I mean the insurrection was loud too, but the thing is, they actually managed to do something. Like they actually did. What? Well,
they did a lot.
Even though it failed, ultimately they did back up. They did bite.
I don't think those are like the traditional conservatives. I think that like when you're saying like the death of the conservative party, I think it's like a formation of a new radical facet of the conservative party that is like in some ways, lots of conservatives are worried about those same people.
The thing is, Jason, even if that's true, that's what conservatism has been associated with now. Because people that are on the more moderate spectrum of conservatism are not speaking out against the people that are on the far right.
Consider this, guys. 30% of us haven't gotten vaccinated. That's the 30. That is the 30% that they are. That is the whatever's out there. That is the tail wagging the dog. Or at least wagging 1/3 of the dog.
Yeah.
That's and those scary.
Snake was right, is correct in the chat. It's morphing into right populism. But think about it. Look back in history. When have people turned to populism? When has it happened? It's
just
happened
before the
when
revolution.
People were scared and anxious, and when there were serious fucking issues facing the world, people turned to populism. Why do you think Hitler succeeded in Germany? In fact, a large portion of the citizens of Germany supported Hitler. And they were genuinely not like bigoted people, but they supported Hitler. Do you know why? Because he turned the economy around. People, even just normal everyday people, will vote for terrible individuals if they feel they can fix the issue that everybody's facing. That's why Trump won. I don't think it's because a bunch of people are a bunch of racist bigots. It's because they were scared. They were anxious. They didn't want your typical politician in there because they didn't think that person was going to do anything. You know what? Trump's pretty brash. He's crass, but God damn it, he's not like all these other fucking politicians. Maybe he's what we need to shake things up. Yeah. And that was their mentality. It wasn't that fuck black people and fuck these stupid Muslim immigrants, send them all. No, that's not what it was for all of them. It was that, you know what? I'm tired of all these fucking bigwig politician elitists running the show, stealing my motherfucking money, this, that, and the other. God damn it, Trump ain't perfect, but he's what we need to shake things up. That was the mentality. Because
most of the
people turn to. People turn to populism when the world looks like it's going to shit. What matters is which populism did it turn to?
Down?
Left? Yes, left populism or right populism.
Okay, like the intelligent neighbors and friends I have that are Republicans that voted for Trump. That's basically what they said. Well, he's kind of crazy, but he's going to shake things up, and the alternative was the status quo.
Yep.
That sort of thing.
People were so tired of the status quo, they were willing to vote for someone like Trump, and that's the problem. The Democratic and look at what the Democratic Party's doing now. They're fucking every goddamn. But anyway, before we get too far down this rabbit hole, Erica, I wanted to share the story. I know Immutable was there. I know Jason was there. I don't remember if David was there. This was a couple nights ago on Gur's stream. So Otangelo kept ragging on me that I bitch at him because he's not a professional, which is not why I bitch at him. I bitch at him because it doesn't matter that he's not a professional. What matters is that what he says is thoroughly rebuked by them. And so I asked him, do you think that you know as much as somebody with a PhD does? And like normally, he wouldn't answer the question. And I know that Jason and Immutable will vouch for me on this. Eventually, he didn't say it directly, but he essentially insinuated, yeah, I think I have an understanding at the level of a professional. And immediately, right then and there, I went, whoa, no, hold up, stop. Otangelo, I could go get a 5-question graduate course exam from MIT in molecular biology. Are you telling me you could pass that test if I brought it here? And then he said, well, what I'm saying, no. I had to interrupt him 4 times, almost screaming, could you pass that test? And finally he answered, no. And I was like, well, then you don't know as much as even a graduate student, because a graduate student could pass that test. Don't sit here and tell me you understand as much as somebody who's been formally trained in the subject when you've never taken a class in it.
Well, these people, Leo, they have absolutely no idea the inner mechanisms behind how progress is made in any given field of science. They think it's eyeballing it, they think it's guesswork, and they think that it's all in the name of actually trying to further some kind of pre-established agenda.
They
And
think
science
is trying to do what they're doing.
Yeah, it is such
It's
a
push agenda.
perspective, which is why none of these people, the ones that you run into here on YouTube, none of them have like greater than an undergraduate education, and rarely even that. And
except
it's not
for Moina.
Yeah, it's not that that's like necessary, right? It's not that you have to have that, but it can offer a very helpful perspective on the scientific method, which is the foundation of every single massive discovery that has ever happened. And I doubt Otangelo could walk you through the steps of the scientific method, which you learn in high school biology.
Hey, I doubt. I sincerely doubt Otangelo could pronounce the first word on the fucking test.
I'm
right?
sure. I mean, God, it's the same thing with all of them. Maddox didn't know what ribose was. I mean, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and here you want to talk about ribosomal pausing.
Oh, guys, you want to hear something incredible? So I finished my last 2 episodes of The Library of Error, the book that I was reading by Standing for Truth and Raw Matt. I finished it, the recordings today. And Raw Matt, in one of his diagnostic characteristics for hominoids, so apes, including gibbons, great apes plus gibbons, that separate them from humans. He said, and I quote, apes, as opposed to humans, have 2 bones in their forearms and lower legs in order to increase mobility. He doesn't know what the radius and the ulna are, and the tibia and the fibula. He doesn't know you have 2 bones in your forearm and hind limb to the distal hind limb. He doesn't know that that's the characteristic trait of mammal ontogeny. And this is the guy, it's the same with all of them. None of them have the basic education to even begin to overturn the paradigm, and yet they sit around twiddling their thumbs, wondering why no one takes their side. It's because every single one of them that starts off in that position changes their mind by the end of their education.
Well, in fact, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think you brought up a really good point, Erica, that the problem with people like Otangelo and Maddox, all of them, is that they're pushing an agenda. What they're trying to do is take what the science says and interpret it in a way that specifically supports their position. And so in their minds, they think that the scientists are trying to do the same, and they're just trying to push a secular, oh no, God couldn't possibly be an explanation position, because that's what they do. And they project that onto the scientists because they don't, like you said, they don't know enough about the process to know that we try to remove doing that. And they just don't realize they have a bias.
And how curious is it that anytime you get one of the actual professional YECs or OECs, whatever, the creationists in general, I'm kind of with Immutable here. I don't have a problem with the theistic evolutionists as much. I just don't really care. But the issue with some of these guys is the professionals that speak, your James Tours, right? Your and even though I love him, your Fuzz Ranas, they come out and they speak explicitly in areas where they are not formally trained. Why is it, do you suppose, that Tor isn't working within the framework of what his education actually is? Why is he doing origin of life stuff when he's a synthetic chemist? It doesn't make any sense. It's the same for all of them, though. Snelling talks about all this wild geology outside of what he does professionally, right? He talks about a completely different field, and that speaks volumes, because if they spoke in areas that they were actually educated in, they would be tacitly lying. So they get the benefit of the doubt by speaking in areas where they don't have the formal education. Forgive me, I'm very jaded coming back to this after.
No, I mean, I'll defend. Look, I don't like doing this, right? I'll defend Tor in saying that in terms of like credentials, right? He probably does have enough background in chemistry to criticize people in the origin of life field for methods that they're using and stuff like that. The major issue that I noticed is that, number one, he's not familiar. He doesn't appear to be familiar enough with the technical literature to understand the approaches that people are using. Like, for instance, when he mentions things like yield, it's not relevant because in abiogenesis, we presuppose things like autocatalysis, where notions of yield become irrelevant. But the other thing is that if you are going after people like with that are using like these novel and kind of weird methods for origin of life, and you think that the results are contradictory, how much effort did you go through to actually contact the researchers to see if your understanding of their results is actually like what they're trying to, like, is actually characteristic of their results, like in what they're reporting? Because that could have saved a lot of trouble.
The nature of professionalism, though, in academia, unfortunately, is that everybody's got like a pyramid of knowledge, right? Where they've got the basic level, it's very broad, but the further you get into their specialty, the more you specialize. So, for instance, I've got colleagues in my department who work just on handedness. So they work with the anatomy of the carpals and phalanges of ancient hominins. And if you ask them a question on what they think about like the foot mechanics and locomotion styles of like Ardipithecus or something like that, the first thing they're going to say is, well, that's not really my area, but here's what I think. Now, would I trust their opinion over just about anybody's? Yes, because they obviously know enough about the subject and the methods behind it as Immutable said to speak on it. But this is what is so worrisome about people like Tor, though, because most professionals don't step out of their circle.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So before we continue, can I just really quickly, I really wanted to make this point. We've got people like Immutable Destiny in here who's got a bachelor's degree in biochemistry. We've got people like Speed in here who spent like 30 years studying this subject. We got people like Jason Torn in here who knows, a lot of chemistry, being a climate scientist. This is a 5-question molecular biology unit exam from, I don't know if it's graduate or undergraduate. It's 5 questions. Shit. Oh man, no, I think we all know something about that. But I don't know how well everybody can see it. I don't know if Speed wants to make it like full screen or not. But here it says, consider the following origin of replication that is found on a chromosome. The sequence of region 1 is shown below, and they've got it kind of highlighted here. It says region 1, 5' CTGA, CTGA, CA ... 3', and then 3' GA, CTGA, CTG ... 5'. The first part of the question, within region 1, which strand will be the template for leading strand synthesis, the top or the bottom? I really wish Otangelo was here right now, because I don't think he'd get the right answer. I really don't.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've studied genetics, but I'm pretty sure it's the top strand.
Well, the template strand is the bottom strand. Actually, it's the top
right,
strand.
Right, but it replicates. Right,
yeah, okay, hang on. The top strand is going to tell you what the result is, basically. but the bottom strand is actually okay. The top strand is called the what the hell do they call it? The coding strand. So the coding strand tells you what is going to end up being coded, and the bottom strand is actually what gets picked up. So, but I'm tired.
Yeah, DNA is.
I ain't
DNA
taking a
is-
test right now.
So
Yeah,
the second one, if we assume that a lagging strand fragment is made from region 1, what will be its sequence?
It should be CUGACUGACA, I believe. So
You
it's
mean
gonna
CT
cut. It's
you
gonna.
mean-
It's,
Because thymine and uracil are the ones that switch, right? From
Yeah,
one
yeah,
to
the
the
T-
other. So
T-
I
T
think,
is
I
gonna
think you
be,
mean
yeah.
CTGA instead of
Well, if
CUG.
they switch in
no,
protein
CUGA.
Is it CU?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
you're gonna
this
end
is-
up with an RNA.
Oh no! Wait, you're right. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yep.
CUG,
Yep.
CUGA, CU, or something like
Yeah,
that.
because the top one is a coding strand, and that's the one that we want to think about. But the actual replication is being done on that bottom strand because it's going to complement it. So
Yeah.
and they call that the template strand. But actually, I read about molecular biology for probably several years and still got all that wrong. Because it isn't the most important thing in the world to know what to call those. The most important thing is to know what the hell's going on. So I don't know. I mean, people can get this shit wrong easily.
I just wanted to show everybody like the kinds of things. I mean, we don't have to like actually try to answer it, but we can just go
That's
through
a
and look at
tRNA.
some of the questions. Below are 210 consecutive base pairs of DNA that includes only the beginning of the sequence of gene X. The underlying sequence from position 20 to 54 represents the promoter for gene X, and the underlined and italicized sequence from position 71 to 90 encodes the gene X ribosome binding site. Transcription begins at Transcription begins at and includes the TA base pair at position 60 bold. What are the first 6 nucleotides of the mRNA from gene X? What are the first 4 amino acids encoded by gene X? I mean,
Well,
you can see these kind of questions.
Yeah, the
What's that?
process for this. The process for this would just be you would go to where gene X starts, right? You would come up with the complementary strand, right? The complementary mRNA strand, right? Then you would go to the chart, whatever chart they've given you, or I don't know, maybe they have you actually memorize codon amino acids. But then you would go, you would go. You'd go to your chart and you'd pull up the, it'd be like valine, proline, glutamate, something like that.
Yeah,
right?
if I'm not mistaken, the way you would want to go about this is since they give you where they give you transcription begins, you would want to make sure that it's actually a start codon. And
Yeah, that would be a UAG at 60, which is methionine. So it's a start code.
At 60?
At 60 UAG.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So it is. It's methionine,
Right.
and then whatever the other ones are that are complementary to it.
I wonder, do you guys know if they have them memorize like the codons? Do they have to memorize them, or do they get?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
you do have to.
They give them a chart, just like in physics. You're not expected to memorize every
I wouldn't
formula.
Okay, Erica, you should memorize UAG because that's the
What
start
you
codon
should
or
know, for instance, is
That's
that
about it.
Yeah, what you should know typically is that G forms base pairs with C and A forms base pairs with T. A forms base pairs with T, or if it's RNA, U.
It's adenine, thymine, and then
Uracil,
and guanine. Right, it switches
yeah.
to uracil for protein synthesis, which this is protein synthesis here.
Right, and you would make the complementary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use a mnemonic for that, GICTA or GICTA.
Can I just make a point for the audience quickly? Notice we have 3 people in here that either A, have been capable of providing a direct answer to the question. Now, I don't know if Speed was correct on the first answer. I have reason to believe that
I don't know.
It's likely that he was, but I don't have the actual. But you've got 3 people here that are at least telling you how you could go about the process of answering these questions.
Oh my God.
I don't think that either Otangelo or Maddox or any of those guys, I don't think a single one, especially those 2 that I listed, if they were here now, they wouldn't have even known where to fucking start.
Here's the scary part about this. My genetics knowledge, I took genetics in undergrad, right? It's been forever. I don't really remember anything from it.
Oh, for me, it's been like 5 years.
Yeah, the only reason I knew what I knew here was because we just got done doing DNA and protein synthesis in lab.
It's fresh in your mind, huh?
So
there we go.
It's fresh in my mind, but here's the kicker. I teach a lab for freshmen.
Mhm.
So if Otangelo and John, who are planning on overturning the paradigm, cannot accomplish what an undergrad business major can do, you have a problem.
Yep.
So, Erica, recall me. Well, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think, unless it's a lab, maybe you'll hit it. But like, I don't think they really get too far into genetics, like with first year bio, do they? Like they get into
No.
like they get into replication, maybe, but they don't get into
do.
like transcription,
Yeah.
do they?
Well, they do. I mean, the lab that I teach is for biological anthropology. So the first, it's separated out into 3 sections. So we have the first section, which is it's POB stuff, so principles of biology. So we do Mendelian inheritance, protein synthesis and DNA, protein synthesis and DNA replication, and mechanisms of evolution, stuff like that. The second is all osteology. I teach osteology and primate locomotion, and then the last is all fossil
Does
hominids.
osteology have something to do with bones?
Yes, just
Okay.
Yeah.
Just really quickly. Speed, did you want me to say I got the solutions PDF to that? Did you want me to send that to you to copy?
Sure,
Yeah,
sure,
I'd put that in the private chat. That'd be fun to look at because that's
and
gonna
just really
humiliate
quickly,
me.
just to read what the answers are for the first question there, where we were looking at the the region of the whatever the fuck with the chromosome. The
Promoter and
answer to
stuff.
the answer to A was the bottom strand will be the template for leading strand synthesis.
I was
and the
right.
answer to B,
haha.
and the answer to B was 5' TGTCAG 3'.
Yeah.
So I was right on we were both right on the second part of that question.
There you go. And honest question to everybody in this room, including Danny. Does anybody be honest? Do you think that Otangelo or John would have had I'll word it this way, would have been incapable, whether it's wrong or right, would have been capable of providing a reasonable answer to that question? Even if it's wrong, I think you can have wrong answers that are reasonable. Do you think they would have provided a reasonable answer to those 2 questions?
I think their answer would have been evolution is false.
Yeah.
Their answer would have been, see, these questions are too complex. They must have been designed by an intelligence.
They wouldn't have answered anything.
No,
No.
they didn't answer the
They
right.
would have
pissed off.
argued that that this is irrelevant. There's no reason to.
They would have argued the
Exactly.
question is intelligently
Oh,
designed, so
God.
it doesn't matter what their answer is because these biologists are just going to reject the truth in their righteousness and burn fucking hell.
But this is why in a bioenth lab, right? That the goal is to teach bones and human evolution and primates and shit like that. There's a reason we spend the first third of the class talking about the basic concepts in biology because they're what lay the groundwork for this, right? So if you don't know the basics, if you can't tell me the 4 nucleotide bases, you aren't going to overturn evolution. I'm really, really sorry. You're not. Because this is the basis of that, and this is a problem even at higher up levels. I mean, there are professional young Earth creationists who work at Answers in Genesis who don't know the 4 mechanisms of evolution. Darwin made that stuff up, right? He's the one that actually discovered these processes and outlined stuff like genetic drift and gene flow and mutation and natural selection and different types of drift and all
Danny,
that kind
quit
of stuff.
stuffing your face.
Sorry, Danny. But my point is
Boo,
that
natural selection.
Imagine going around. Sorry, Danny.
That was great.
Yeah,
That
there we
was
go.
pretty funny.
I'm just
Well,
You
no,
better bring him back in too. Come on now.
No, he's in the back room. I'm gonna wait until he's done with dinner, and then I'll bring him back
Okay.
in because
Okay, fair enough.
I don't like
Yeah, he's
watching
stuffing
people
his
eat
face,
either.
yeah.
So as
I
soon as
always
he's
take-
done eating,
Oh,
we'll bring him
man.
back. Yeah. Yep. Anyway,
I'm worked up. I get worked up about this stuff because it's like, and I'm sure everybody here who's, been involved kind of with academia and stuff feels the same way. It's like when you see how hard these folks are actually out there working, trying to reason through these questions that we have in life. And it's like some rando off the street basically comes up and tells you that like literally everything is wrong, but they can't tell you the first thing about what you're even doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just really insulting, and it feels like a waste of time, kind of, honestly.
No, but I mean, the thing is, it's so exceptionally amusing though when people like
it's
Otangelo try to
hilarious,
tell me. It's amusing because people like Otangelo can't tell me the first thing about stuff like how actual genetics works. I mean, the stuff we like. For instance, one reason they can't answer that question is you would have to know what a promoter and a recognition sequence is to answer part of that
Yeah.
question.
or
And if you don't know what that
hydrogen
is,
or
yeah,
helix or DNA polymerase or any of these things, right? Like,
yeah. And if you don't know what those things are, you don't have a fighting chance of answering that question.
yeah, it's honestly a lot. I mean, and I know I'm mean about it. I am kind of mean about it, but I would be less mean if they weren't so like.
If they weren't so freaking arrogant. If they weren't as confident in what they were trying to proselytize, hey, you know what? We can have differing interpretations, but like, let's at least try to agree what the facts are. And if you're going to talk about abiogenesis, but you don't understand like basic level chem, how's that going to work? How am I supposed to have a productive dialogue?
I'm scared about talking in my own field, in the vicinity, in a square mile of someone who's like, actually working in the field right now. I'm terrified to do that because I know they know more than me.
Hey, I don't touch organic chemistry with a 9-foot pole because I'm horrible at it.
Yeah. we all got our limits,
Yeah, hey, the people that do that are fucking geniuses. I don't understand. Like,
yeah.
I had trouble with organic chemistry in college for good reason, and most people do. And it's like,
OChem is not easy. OChem is not easy.
No, it's not. Like, it's complicated because, and I'll say this again when Leo gets here. The only way to understand reactions that take place in chemistry is by understanding orbital interactions, and that is not easity.
Yeah,
that is not a simple ordeal.
I would be thrilled to corner O'Cangelo and ask him if he knows what like a valence electron is.
Oh heck, because I mean, there's stuff you get into like if you actually study like more technical organic chemistry about, even basic level organic chemistry, things like steric hindrance and things like bonding orbitals and non-bonding orbitals and anti-bonding orbitals and stuff like that, and just basic stuff like that OChem students learn about, and it's complicated. It's not easy.
Yeah, I get my butt kicked by an undergraduate in OChem. That stuff was difficult when I was taking it, and I feel like if I even cracked open an OChem book in the other room, I would just like start panicking.
I like trying to understand it because it's a weakness of mine, and I don't like being weak in it. But it's one of those things where you have to read it a few times to really like understand it.
I like the beginning of organic chemistry, like in organic chemistry 1, and then after like 3 months, it's just not fun. Or no, well, how long is the semester? After like a month and a half, it's over for me. Like I just couldn't get it.
I think the point of organic chemistry is to teach you like just how complicated chemistry can fucking be, and just how much of a nightmare it is trying to be a synthetic, like dealing with synthesis, especially like dealing with drug synthesis for products that are very hard to do.
Really cool knowledge, though, like to have that kind of knowledge, like that,
It is, and it's really hard.
Yeah. Making
and
drugs.
The thing is, though, like it's really hard to synthesize things in a way that's pure. Like there's entire fields of study like that take different approaches to.
I'm sorry, Immutable. I've seen Breaking Bad already. Okay.
Why the hell is Leo chowing down? I swear to God. Oh my God, he's just asking for it, Speed.
Wait, Jason, you saw the lib. What did you think about the lib? What I said with the Muslims?
I wanted to jump on that stream, but because I thought those guys were full of it. Like I thought that
Oh yeah.
I thought, but I didn't. But I thought that like you were very.
Whoa, wait. Were you on TAP?
I don't
Thought
know.
Adventure Podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who did you talk to? So you talked to Abdul, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Sharif
he barely talked. There were too many ramblers. They like Abdul's like the only one that's concise.
God, they ran on and on and on.
Was he there?
They just talk and talk and talk, and like I'm just sitting
the
there like,
oh man, when you said Khalil, that reminded me of when Khalil went on to the Rager stream, and me and Leo and
I would rather talk to Khalil than these other two people though. Khalil.
Wait, hold on. What was one of the ones that you talked to? The Muslim metaphysician?
No, I didn't talk to him. I talked to these two other ramblers, and then Abdul was there. Which I like Abdul. He's very to the point.
I do. Yeah, I like him.
Charitable. And then there was this other guy that came in late. I forgot his name. I feel like they're all Abduls. I'm sorry. Like I just can't get. I don't know something with an A, Danny. Right? But no. But what did you think about my point? I don't know if it was clear though. I don't think I made myself clear, which is probably my fault. But
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have taken the like. I know that your position was around like the coercion aspect was kind of a big issue, and I would agree with that. But I really didn't like the comeback that the guy had about like McDonald's. Like he was like, oh, like people have free will and like equal rights, but then they can go to McDonald's and feed their face, and that's not actually good for them. I wanted to be like, it's about like Western societies have liberal equal rights aspects because like previously we've been under the thumb of like kings and authoritarian regimes. And certainly they're not to run on, but certainly there are negative aspects to equal rights, human rights aspects in societies, but we balance those. And we see human rights and equal rights as critical in a democratic society. And we set boundaries to protect ourselves from things like, corporate organizations trying to take advantage of that. Now, is that the best? Are there problems with it? Yes. But the issue of equal rights and the concepts of liberty, freedoms, human rights are essential. Yeah, go ahead.
Was this liberalism like in the political sense? Were they critiquing like political liberalism?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing.
Are they like staunch conservatives, or are they more like a right
they understand conservatives to be liberals as well.
Correct. Yeah,
Right,
they just look at it like John
Wait, so
Locke,
are they more
two
extreme
trees.
to the right than conservatives, or are they not really even like on like a left-right really?
I guess
kind of
I
like
don't
an
really
outside
know.
looking in, maybe.
But I mean, to some extent, I do sympathize with them. I just look at liberalism as kind of a necessary condition for an ideal society, because you can have liberalism and have an awful society.
See, I thought they were critiquing like liberalism in terms of like not scholastic liberal. Oh God, like sort of like a theological liberalism.
To me, it wasn't that sophisticated of a critique. It was something like, you have to use coercion sometimes, therefore liberalism is problematic. Something like that.
They were associating liberalism with like individualism. That the liberalism represents like individual human and equal rights, and like somebody's like I like self-determination, like I have the right in my society, like if I want to have be called a woman and have my own gender identity, I have that right to do so, or if I have a right to do this for my own individual needs. And they're like, that's a no-no, because there are things that individuals can make decisions on, and that has a negative consequence to society, and therefore Islamic guidelines are better. That's their angle.
Yeah, I didn't like how that guy, I said, well, you think, I characterized the guy as, you want a theocracy. And he's like, he started going through the etymology of theocracy. I'm like, no, okay, look, forget about, I don't really care. You think Islam is the solution? Yes. And then he's like, they said yes. I'm like, that's what I meant when I said theocracy. I mean, it was just kind of like.
Can I jump in here really quick, just to kind of understand who Danny was talking to? Speed. I'm not going to play the video or anything. I just want Danny to identify the guys on. Would you be willing to share my screen quickly? So, and I can make this a little bit bigger if we go full screen. So I can see where you got confused, because down here in the bottom left is Abdul, and then up here with the hat is Asadullah Ali, and then next to him with all the books is Abdullah Al-Andalusi. So I can see why.
How many Abduls can you fit into one box? Jesus Christ!
Wait, hold on, Danny.
Oh my God.
Which one were the two that I'm assuming the guy in the hat, the
Guys
guy with
are
all the
so
books?
fucking racist.
The biggest.
Hey, I'm just
hold on,
Jason. How many Abduls are there on the screen? How many Abduls do you see on the screen? Okay.
Oh shit! Shut the hell up, Immutable.
I'm just saying. Okay.
Is that like the name Mike? Is it the same over there?
I can't get. Okay, Danny. I'm sorry that everybody's trying. So which two were the ones that you said were the most problematic?
The biggest rambler was one in the top middle, and then to it's like the Sharif was okay, but still like he was better, much better, but still rambly. And then Abdul and I were messaging each other on Facebook, and I was like, he's like, I don't want to say anything.
Kind of like, I'm sorry.
But we were just so we were messaging each other. I was making sure, is it okay? Can I keep on pushing them? Because I didn't want to step on their
step on their toes or anything.
Yeah. And then Asadullah, He
Over
didn't really
here?
talk
Yeah.
much, but the little that he talked was just completely, just didn't. I mean, I don't know. It was like insignificant to what I was saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to know which ones it was. I figured it was Abdullah there in the middle because he's a character a little bit.
I was gonna
check who's in the private. Check who's in the in the chat.
The private chat?
No,
It's like
YouTube.
yeah, it's like we
We
whisper his
have,
name and he shows
we have
up.
the main man himself. We have Otangelo Grasso.
You know, I just wanted to say quickly, Danny, I'm just glad you didn't have to deal with Hamza Sortsis. That
Hamza,
guy.
yeah, that's the red hair.
I
right?
think
No.
no. Hamza
Oh my God.
Sortsis is he was
The one that owns
that,
the.
He debated Krauss.
Yeah, he's the one that when they did the one on consciousness and everything, he's the one that kept like 3 different atheists went in, and he just like literally the whole time was like, yeah, but you can't answer these questions. You can't answer these questions. Your worldview can't answer these questions.
I probably know their face.
Tide goes in,
yeah.
tide goes out. You can't explain that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. And I'm glad that Jake, the Muslim metaphysician, wasn't there, because I know some other people that have said, you know, they've had some good dialogues with him, but I have to be honest, at first I thought he was pretty respectful, but as it went on, this is going to sound super fucking pretentious, but I mean, it's just matter of fact. I don't think that he had substantive responses to a lot of the points I was making, and it evidenced by his moving away from like responding to what I was saying into like those, you know, those kind of like really, really subtle jab, like under the table jabs, like kicking you with the foot in your shins, and it just progressed. And I think I've told you this before, Danny. I pulled a U, and this was after the stream had ended, and we were backstage, and he went off on me, and I was like, dude, Jake, if you don't understand this stuff, buddy, just sit down. Let the big boys talk. You might learn something. He was like, you know what? You piece of shit.
Yeah,
he went off.
Yeah, the one time I talked to Muslim metaphysician, he cursed me out, and I just said, look, me and Abdullah are going to talk. You can just sit out. So I did the same. I did that to him too. He was so angry at me.
Balls.
I was giving an argument against the existence of God, and Abdul actually not only understood it, but actually realized the argument, accepted that some of the premises of the argument, but he just would not get it.
I think Abdul and Sharif are probably the 2 best reasoners that I've seen in their little.
I think that I'm not so sure. Abdul, I think if we had the right people, and that's a tautology, I'm about to say tautology, but if we had the right people for Abdul, I think he would deconvert. I think he's one of those people that like is interested in the topics, and if we had the right people, he would eventually like leave Islam.
He seems the one that's most interested in an actual discussion. Like he wants to actually understand what you're saying and juxtapose that with his own positions, figure out where there's disagreement, where there's agreement, you know, what are the specifics of that. And that's what I like. I like actually hashing out those nuances, you know, figuring out, because that's how you figure out what's true.
Yeah, he's way above average, especially in that crowd, because that crowd is just usually insufferable.
Well, I've seen some of them on Hams. Like when I see Abdul go on Hamza's den, he's quiet most of the time. I'm like, Abdul, there's so many better channels you could be on where you could actually voice your thoughts. They would be considered. Don't waste your time here, my guy. Like, please, you are so much. You just come on.
Yeah, I hope he. I want to do shows with Abdul, but the thing is that we disagree on everything, so I don't know what we do a show about.
Anyway, what's going on, peeps? I see we have 2 new people in here. Well, they're not new.
I've been watching the John Wick series. I have to say they did something unique here. So if I would recommend the series, I think they did something rather unique. So that's
what did you say, Danny?
John Wick had a series.
Yeah, there's 3 of them. They're making a 4th of one.
Wait, what series?
John Wick.
John Wick.
Really? Wait.
They make too much money on that shit.
Movie.
Of course
they're not making a.
Oh, you mean another movie or they made?
Well, they're making another movie.
Out of...
I'm telling you, the series is actually good. It's actually worth watching.
I'm a big fan of John Wick.
They have a TV series?
No. Is he still getting revenge for his dog that died?
Yes.
That was John Wick 2, right?
That was
the first John Wick.
That was the first John Wick.
Oh,
I'm saying they're making so far the 4th one's going to come out in May next year. and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, there isn't enough fake blood to make a TV series about it.
You have a crush on
No,
Keanu
that's
Reeves.
true.
Look,
My
Keanu
housemate
Reeves is kind of
definitely does.
attractive. Let's just put that out there, okay?
I mean, he does the dialogue in that series is really good too.
Have you ever seen like there's like YouTube videos of him training for like weapons training? He's like serious into this shit, man.
Oh,
like
okay.
he's
So-
like
Mhm.
so anyways, whatever.
So
Go ahead.
Wasn't he also in the Matrix, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Walker and Andrew have joined.
Yeah, it was in the Matrix.
Hello.
The Matrix guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, can you guys hear me? That's cool.
Andrew's been here for a while.
Hi.
Walker and Andrew have joined.
Yeah.
Can you not
Danny,
hear
have
me?
have you seen
I
the
pointed
movie
that out.
Little Women?
Little Women?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have
Do you
seen a
know-
little
you know-
woman.
There.
Are you talking
This
about
isn't
that
it.
boy
No,
actor
it's
that?
not. Yes,
Yes,
I
I
watched
look like
Little
him.
Women.
Oh my
I
gosh.
watched Little Women last night. Hold on, just hey Luke. Hey, can you come here for a sec? Oh my
The
god.
only,
Hold on.
the only,
I didn't put my finger on it, but you look just like that actor.
yeah, the only
What's his
response
name?
a man can give to that question is yes, ma'am, right away.
Oh,
Well, the
yes,
good thing is that
ma'am.
he's cute. So
Well, you know what happens if he doesn't.
Yeah,
give
there's
a
only
ball
one
with
response you can give to that without getting your ass
it-
whipped.
No, it's not about getting your ass whipped,
Okay.
dude. It's getting tangled clean the
I'm
fuck
trying to
off.
focus
Clean
on
break,
something
man.
on
What
Google.
can
Right.
you say? What can you
Look
do?
at
It's gone if you don't.
There's only one possible response in that case.
Wait, can you tell them? Okay, hold on, Luke.
Oh, he
tell them
does
what you
look
think. Tell them.
looks just like Lori.
I know.
Speed, highlight Danny.
Exactly.
Highlight
Dead
Danny.
Ringer.
Speed. Highlight him. Highlight him. Come on, do it. Make him big.
Oh my god.
Make
Oh
him big.
my god,
Do it,
that's
Speed.
crazy.
Make him big.
Okay,
What's
so
his
Luke-
name? Let me see.
Lori
Luke
or
says
something?
Lori's a cutie, so it's a compliment.
Yeah, I know he's a cutie, right? And that's it makes me feel so. I've seen the movie, and then he's in that movie. He's in the movie Dune now.
Oh
You-
yeah,
Oh,
he
is
is
he?
in Dune. Yeah,
Oh, I want to see that movie so bad. I'm so
Yeah,
excited about that coming
it's
out.
gotten good reviews so far, though, right?
Has he got
I-
negative
movies anymore.
reviews?
No, I think
I
it's
have-
gotten good ones.
I'm like
banking
obsessed
on
with
that
Frank
one.
Herbert.
I'm banking. Which one are you? Who are you obsessed with, Jason?
Frank Herbert,
Oh, I don't know.
the guy who wrote Dune.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
if
reading
you
the-
haven't
Anybody
read,
else?
Read books.
if
How
you
can
haven't
people get
read,
obsessed
if you
with
haven't
the
read the Dune books, you're like missing out. That shit is awesome.
Is anybody kind of excited for the new James Bond movie that's coming out?
No.
No,
No,
no.
Sorry.
Really? Okay. Fuck.
I spend way too much
Well,
time
all right.
reading science books.
All right.
no,
Than
I'm
I-
ready
Been
for The
watching
Witcher.
Foundation.
The
ready for
Witcher.
The Witcher.
Yeah, dude, Cavill, that guy is hot.
Yeah.
Cavill?
I have like a
Henry
major crush
Cavill?
on him.
Henry Cavill, yeah.
I
yeah.
watched.
Cavill.
Have y'all
It's
seen
Cavill.
the
I heard him
Count
say
of
it
Monte
himself
Cristo?
on his Instagram. It's Cavill.
Have y'all seen
Oh,
the?
is it Cavill?
Have y'all seen the early? I think late 19.
Fuck you.
And yeah, dude,
1990s
it's
or-
sexy as fuck.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen the Count of Monte
Everybody
Cristo?
ships him, like all of Amelia's fans ship them. And the funny thing is she's turned him
you?
down like 3 times. There
Leo,
was
do
okay.
you ship
I saw a
them?
screenshot. I mean, I don't think they'd be a bad couple. Probably didn't like the shit, but I mean, I don't ship people. I just don't. But anyway,
It's kind of cringy when
What
people
is
do
Leo
it.
talking about?
there's a screenshot of Amelia and Henry Cavill, Amelia Clarke and Henry Cavill.
Oh,
They
okay.
took a photo at like a Comic-Con or something a few years ago, and Amelia posted it, and Henry commented and said, "We look, haha, we look like a couple here, and this is real. Like this actually is a real thing. It happened." And Amelia commented and said, "Yeah, a couple of besties."
Oh god.
Wow.
So you know what that means is that you have
Oh,
hope, Leo.
fuck.
You have hope.
Well,
Oh,
hope
my
for
heart.
what?
That gives
Hope-
me
What
What's still on the
hold on,
market?
She's
hold
not
on
with
here.
him, right?
What the fuck makes you think I would move my happy ass to England? I mean, unless she's willing to move
Wow,
out.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
But
Okay.
I'm
Wow.
not moving there.
Not for her. You wouldn't move for her.
I
Well,
stand the
no,
bridge.
I would move.
You
to
wouldn't move for
someplace
her?
that's
Okay,
not
fuck.
England for her, but I wouldn't.
You wouldn't move
no,
for. Oh,
fuck
that's
that.
not.
I'm
Now
living in
I'm
that-
skeptical of your love for her.
Okay, dude.
She's
well,
not
I
that
don't
hot.
Love her anyway. Oh, that's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Oh,
Anyway,
now you've done it.
And who said anything
Wow.
that it was like specifically her like physical beauty that is the only thing I'm attracted to anyway? That's
What do you like?
You-
Have like
you
a
have
had
personal
multiple
emotional
times.
the
relationship
point
with her?
is, Danny, I am not moving to the United Turfdom. Why would I move there?
For her.
Why
that's
would I move to the United Turfdom?
You don't love her enough. That's
You
it.
make sacrifices for love, Leo.
Who said I loved her? I don't know who the fuck she is.
You don't have to
Oh,
know who she
okay.
is. You can
Now
love
we're
her.
I mean, I
playing this
know
game.
that she is
All
a person
right.
that exists and that she's an actress. I don't know anything about her.
You don't have to.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, maybe for some people, but not for me. That's not how it works up here. Sorry.
You wouldn't do like a 90-day fiance with Emilia Clarke?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
I don't know what that is. Like,
It's a
that you're
TV
just
show.
with
Really?
them for like 90. Is that like where you're with them for 90 days to see if it works? And
Yeah,
then-
pretty
it's like
much. Yeah.
shit, my internet
Well,
goes.
I mean, I would.
No,
like,
no,
go out
Walker,
on-
go ahead. Your mic is really quiet though. So
I would
turn it
like
up.
go out on like dates with her and stuff, and if it, things.
Not
work
if she's
out,
in
they-
New England.
They New England? Wait, what? You mean
Where is
England?
she?
England.
Old
Regular
England.
England.
Old
Regular
England.
Oh,
Yeah.
regular
Old England.
The
Old
smelly,
England, not New
the-
England. Get it
the
right.
smelly England that's nothing but what? Fish, chips, cup of tea, bad food,
London's
worst
pretty-
weather, Mary fucking
London's pretty
Poppins.
close.
Like,
No,
what do
here
they
I
have?
thought you were talking about Boston.
Hey, hold on. They have excellent Indian food there.
They
because
do.
all of the
That's
good
what tikka
food-
masala.
Yeah, and who invented that food? Not the British.
No, that's what I'm saying. They've got good.
Yeah,
like,
it's,
No,
so
they
it's
actually
not,
have
it's not the
one
British
of the most
people that are
famous
responsible for that.
One of the most famous Indian dishes is
Yeah,
actually from England.
but that's not because of the British. That's because
It's
of
like
the
French
fucking
fries.
Indians.
Okay. all
So
right.
it
and
doesn't
they have
matter.
the
Bad
NHM, which
food,
of which they
worse
stole the
weather.
majority of artifacts. To
Yes,
fill
they
it.
did. Well, you have to
The
remember
Elgin marbles.
the whole reason that the United or that England, the government of Great Britain and Ireland, the British Empire, came to rule the Indian subcontinent actually didn't have anything to do directly with the military or the government of Great Britain and Ireland. It had to do with a company that was under a charter by the government of Great Britain and Ireland, namely the East India Company. They're the ones that essentially colonized the Indian subcontinent. And then in 1883 or something like that, the East India Tax Act was passed, or whatever it was called, which essentially liquidated the East India Company because they weren't paying their taxes to the British Crown, and that's how the British Crown came to essentially rule over the Indian subcontinent. They were not the ones that originally controlled it. It was the East India Company, the British East India Company.
Well, that was I feel like I'm in community college now.
Well,
Oh,
that
man.
was fun.
Stop
Thank you
giving
for
me a
reminding
community
me.
college lecture.
Thank you for reminding me why I
in the
never
immortal
did
words
English
of Darth
class.
Biology exam again, and we can go through that some more if you guys want
Thank
to.
you
Haven't
for
you ever heard,
reminding me.
I don't
haven't
wanna
you ever
feel
heard
stupid.
Darth do that? Darth Dawkins is like,
Yeah, that's where I got
stop
it
giving
from.
me the community college lecture.
Yeah. Darth has some interesting rhetoric though, like that one. I think that's pretty good.
Didn't he
Yeah.
claim he was like a world class or not? Well, he claims he studied philosophy at some point in time, which I'm not sure if I believe.
I kind of want to quiz Jason right now.
Oh
honestly.
fuck! Don't
I
quiz me.
Okay, can I ask you one question?
Pull up like a
Yeah.
geochemistry exam.
Shut the
Um,
fuck up! Don't do that.
Oh,
So
come
here-
on!
here-
Didn't you
hold on,
study
hold on, hold
geochemistry
on,
as a
hold on.
PhD?
Yeah, don't
Here we
quiz
go.
me on
Oh,
that,
come
dude.
Here,
now!
hold on,
Come
hold on.
on!
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh,
Here we go.
come now!
Stop. Question for Jason. Determine the emission temperature of the planet Venus. You may assume the following.
Shut the fuck
the
up.
mean radius of Venus orbit is 0.72 times that of Earth's orbit. The solar flux S0 decreases as the square of the distance from the sun and has a value of 100 or 1367 watts per meter squared at the mean Earth orbit. Venus planetary albedo is 0.77. The observed mean surface temperature of the planet Venus is about 750 K. How many layers of the N-layer model described in Lecture 4 would be required to achieve the same degree of
Oh,
warmth?
no, not lecture.
Yeah, in
4.
lecture 4
Hey,
specifically.
Oh,
Jason,
lecture 4 was
Jason,
so
I got
bad.
a present for you, Jason.
Oh my
We
god,
brought
you
you a-
turned into a bug.
Uh-oh.
Oh man. Oh.
That makes me want to pull a bender. How long do I have to shake my ass for these fuckers? Or he didn't say fuckers, but he's like, it's like, how long
Hey,
do I
man.
have to shake my ass for these?
I have to pull out my lecture notes on Wien's law and calculating like using like albedo and solar flux to calculate emission calculations, which
But
you
at
can
least
do,
you have
but
the notes, right?
Erica, how many responsibilities are you ignoring right now?
Oh God, only knows how many responsibilities. Oh man, I've had so many family obligations on the weekends, and I work every day and also have class every day. So yesterday was the first day in a month and a half that I didn't have anything actively to do, and I sat on my ass all day long. I didn't do a single thing. I've got papers to grade. I've got the grade book to fix. I've got a PowerPoint to make for Osteology 2 on Tuesday. I don't care. I did absolutely nothing. It was amazing.
sometimes you have to do that.
Do you secretly enjoy being a workaholic?
no. And on top of that, I'm juggling the YouTube stuff too. So
Right,
you're
the
gonna
YouTube
hear
stuff.
something so sad. This is the broken system. So I get paid as a grad student to teach. I have like my stipend or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't have to pay for tuition, which is nice, obviously, because I wouldn't do it if I had to pay for it. But like, I make almost as much doing YouTube as they pay me to do the grad school.
That's not bad though.
Oh, that's
Is that bad?
horrible.
Is that
No,
bad? I'm
Fucking
sorry, maybe
horrible.
I didn't think that was bad. Is that bad?
That's
No,
horrible.
it's bad.
It's okay.
bad.
So it wouldn't be bad if she had more than like 6K subs, or like
Yeah,
7. You're
that's-
at what, like 7? So if
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
making
I
as
have
much on 7K subs as you
Yeah,
would,
but
like
how many subs does she have?
Like 7K.
You're pretty close to there,
And you know,
aren't you?
half of those are young Earth creationists, so really she has
Yeah,
3K,
naturally.
right?
Have it. Just have it.
So half of the audience that listens to her cares about her. Way to go, Danny. Just
No, yeah, just
bring
No,
on
no,
the
no,
fucking guilt
Danny's
trip.
right. I'm sure
You
I
know
get
what?
a ton of views watchers.
Can,
That's
can I
okay.
be like 100% honest with you guys for a second?
There's
I
no
always
just
need
be
thought
to
that, like,
95,
despite
95.
Because you
the
weren't
fact
before?
that I have a strong understanding of like physics, that I didn't think I would ever like be able to actually like do it in college. But I'm looking at some of these questions from an exam from MIT for Quantum Physics 1, and I don't obviously immediately know the answer, but I like
You could do it.
understand what they're asking me, and I
Yeah.
feel like I could probably
What?
find
This is
the
why.
answer.
Well,
I'm-
This is
I've
why
I've
I told
impressed
you go do
myself.
fucking
Wow.
physics.
Yeah, let's stop. Wait
Wow.
a second. I have a question. Like Leo, why don't you go to college?
I've always
Because I
wondered
don't
that.
have the money.
Yeah,
You don't need
you can
money.
get the money,
Yeah,
man. That you can get
scholarship.
loans for that. Why?
Yeah.
But I have to pay it back.
No,
Ah.
not if you work for the government for 10 years, they'll forgive it.
You
Wait,
know what
what
they
about,
say,
Dude,
dude,
Danny?
join NASA.
Wait, hold on. You know what they say, Danny? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but the fucking government will never own me.
So some of
Well,
those classes you could test out
boy.
of.
Yeah.
You might be
Wait,
able to
no.
only have to go to school for a couple years and get your degree.
Yeah. Wait, couldn't you
Leo,
apply for
given-
some scholarships too? Like apply for some
Yeah.
not grants, but like
Seriously.
Just
Leo,
listen to how
given-
easy this question is. A particle of mass m and a charge q is
Leo!
accelerated
Are you
across
just
the
making our
potential
point for
difference
us or
p
something?
to a
Yeah,
non-relativistic
yeah.
velocity.
Yeah,
What
he
is the
is.
Yeah,
Broglie
you can do
wavelength
it, right? We
of
no,
this
no one,
particle?
no one has ever thought you couldn't do it. No one ever has thought.
Yeah, totally.
And looking at these answers, that would
Just,
Wait,
look,
hold
just
on.
go,
He
start,
is being
start it-
bashful.
I don't see why
He's
you
being
don't just start at a
bashful.
state school, pay like in-state tuition, use loans if you have to, and then you're going to come out with what,
But
25K
remember-
in loans.
Getting a degree is not just about like having the knowledge. It's about like actually doing the time. It's about like doing
The
the
thing
work.
is, and here's the thing too, right? I definitely think, because Leo is a very smart person and definitely
Totally.
knows this physics shit.
Yeah.
You look, if as long as like you talk to people like in a department, you'll easily get you can easily do undergrad research, probably publish a few papers by the time you get
Yeah.
out,
Yeah,
and probably
I
have
mean,
decent letters for a
One
grad
of my
program.
housemates
Yeah.
is doing undergrad astrophysics research.
yeah, just ace your undergrad, then get a full ride to your PhD program.
listen to Danny. Yeah, man, just ace all your undergrad shit.
Why not?
Just ace
Hey,
it. It's
if
so
I
easy.
can get an A in
Leo,
physics
you could
and,
probably
intro
test
physics,
out.
You can too.
Leo, you probably
I
could
might
test
be
out
able
of the
to test
majority
out
of
like,
math.
the calculus 1.
You
the worst.
definitely could,
That's,
Leo.
that's
Yeah,
about
you
it.
could test out of Calc 1 and probably well, if you're doing physics, they probably wouldn't let you test out of it. But you could probably test
Oh,
out
no,
of
it
like
depends
Calc
on-
1,
it
Calc
depends
2.
on
You
where
usually
go.
can.
You don't even
But
need. I mean,
even
that's
if
just.
you test out, if they won't let you test out of it, they'll usually put you in like an honors or like a more advanced version.
Yeah, there
of
we
the
go.
Calc,
Fucking do
you
it.
know?
Yeah, take them.
I mean, at
take
least in my
them
school, you can
for-
test out of calculus 1, even if you're a physics major.
But it is
Yeah.
true. Undergrad is a little bit of a scam, but not for someone like you that wants to
Yeah.
do research and PhD stuff. Like you need.
Listen,
I mean, like
Leo, take the core classes at a community college, transfer the credits to your undergrad.
Good
Well, I've
point.
thought about doing that. I've thought about
Good
getting an
point.
associate of
Yeah, do
science
that.
and engineering from
Good
Ellsworth
point.
Community College. But
I'm telling
Dude,
you, you could.
that'd
you could
be
do that, and
great.
it wouldn't- Yeah, it really wouldn't. Like, given how much you know about the subject, those core classes will be a cakewalk.
wait, guys. The hardest question I think I've ever seen.
Leo,
Hold on. No. You guys are gonna love this. This is actually kind of funny. Immutable. You're gonna you. I know you took some quantum mechanics. You're gonna struggle with this.
Yeah.
Consider a particle of mass m. Is there a physical configuration of the system in which the position in the x direction and the momentum in the x direction can both be predicted with 100% certainty? Let me give you the answers first. Yes, every state. Yes, but not all states. No, no such state. Yes, but only for free particles. Yes, but only for particles in an infinite well.
It should be.
That's Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, right?
No. It should be.
Walker's ruining things.
It
I'm sorry.
applies. It applies to bound particles. It shouldn't be true for unbound.
Yes. Yeah, it should be yes, but only for particles in an infinite. Or wait, no, infinite.
It should be yes, but only for unbound particles, because unbound particles don't have
which
unbound.
Unbound would be like a free particle, right?
Yeah, free particle.
Okay. See, boom.
Should be only for free
particles. My
particles.
answer was yes, but only for free particles.
Yeah, that should be right.
That was actually a pretty, which obviously that was the sarcasm. That was an easy fucking question.
If you're talking about like an electron, like in proton system, yeah, it's you can't do that because that's where quantum mechanics takes place.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I mean, definitely, you should at least take some courses for it.
The fact that I can look at these questions and be like, okay, like I don't know the answer, but if I looked up the right formulae, I could probably find that.
Well, and you're given a formula sheet as well.
Oh, yep, right up here at the top. Formula sheet 1, formula sheet 2. We've got
that's all like triggering me.
We've got Fourier transform conventions, delta functions, operators in the Schrödinger equation, common integrals for an infinite square well with 0 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to L. We've got we've got ladder operators for the first dimensional harmonic oscillator and the harmonic oscillator ground state wave function.
Probably the hardest thing they could ask you to do on it.
Wait, I have a question for anyone that's doing grad school. I mean, my grad school, there's no such thing as like these sorts of tests where you have to like blue book it or Scantron it. I just submit papers. What is that your experience?
I have one. I'm taking a seminar called Method and Theory. That's just like reading all the papers ever important to bioanthroprimatology or general behavioral eco. But I also am taking a mammal evolution class that has lab practicals and like exams and stuff like that.
I mean, most graduate. I mean, like I don't know about like for my master's and for my PhD, I had like prelims. I don't know if anybody's ever done like preliminary examinations. So you do written prelims, which are like typically like as a PhD candidate, or you're trying to become a candidate, you have written prelims where like each professor assigns you like questions and you have like a day to answer them. So you have like, it's like 4 days, like four people, they each assign you stuff to do and you have 1 day to complete it and submit it within a certain time frame. And it's always like more information than you ever could do in 1 day. It's like
Aren't they designed to be that way as well though?
Absolutely. They're designed to put you under stress to get those things done, but you never can complete them fully. It would take you like 5 days to really do each one of them. And then you have the verbal prelims, which are a nightmare. Like you go in a room for like 4 hours and literally it's just like an attack. They're just like, you're under attack.
Oh, they grill you for everything.
The whole time.
Wait, is this for a class or is this just for your like
this is for in general? This is to go to progress to candidacy. So become a PhD candidate, you have to pass your prelims, and usually it's oral and written prelims, and in
that too, Jason.
And in aspects of physics and math, I passed my prelims first time, but my understanding is that in things like physics and chem, like it's very common for people to fail their prelims and have to redo them.
Yes. All I can speak is to what I've read at for Harvard and somebody that I know personally that has their PhD in astrophysics from Harvard. And they do what's called the astrophysics assessment. And they give you a list of 100 questions. And they tell you will not know which set of questions or how many are going to be asked to you. And just rote memorization of the questions means fucking nothing because you will be asked every little detail about the questions that you're asked. But I wanted to read one more question from this test because this goes to show you the humor that fucking physicists have. That this is pretty rich. MIT scientists have recently discovered a parallel universe in which the laws of physics are completely and this is obviously hypothetical for the question. MIT scientists have recently discovered a parallel universe in which the laws of physics are completely identical, except everyone wears a goatee and or too much mascara and seems vaguely dangerous. Your decorated double, who is currently taking the Parallel Universe 8.04 Quantum Physics 1 exam, just claimed that the wave function psi sub s from part 1f will evolve in time as, and I'm not going to read the rest. It's fucking what?
Nice.
I'd laugh out loud if I saw that in class. I would literally, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I wonder if it's just my program then, because like all I do is submit paper, submit paper proposals, and then submit papers. That's all I do.
Well, you're also in philosophy, not like a
right.
hard
But I'm
science.
just wondering why. I mean, I guess that makes sense because I don't. I mean,
Do you have a
what were you gonna
defense?
say? I do have to defend either a thesis or 3 of my papers, but I don't anticipate that being an issue for me because I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, each place is like lots of institutions are different. Like, but most have like the aspects of prelims and defenses.
Yeah, I do have to do a defense at the end, but I already know the 3 papers I'm writing, and I'm so familiar with that literature.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, when you get to the defense, like it's like a slam dunk. I mean, like people are like, when you get to your defense, you've been working on this stuff so long that usually you know more about it than your people on your committee. They're like, it's just a conversation.
Right.
You're presenting
that's how
your
I
research.
anticipate it being. Like, I just don't. I feel sorry for all those like science medical people, right? Like, I just like they have to take these real like bubble in choice. I can't do that anymore, man. I can't like.
They're also going to make way more money, so I don't.
That's
feel bad
true, but they're then higher suicide rate and all of that, and.
Well, I mean, just don't become a statistical physicist.
Yeah.
Just don't involve yourself in the field of statistical.
I think, like dissertation work and stuff like that. I mean, I couldn't see that being like exam based or like bubble in based. But I'm taking population genetics right now, which is mostly grad students, and it's also like exam-based class, mostly like Scantron shit.
Oh, and I will say something. Almost every person I've met with an undergrad degree in philosophy are just utterly ignorant. I don't know. I don't know why that is. Right? They're more difficult to talk to than the layman or the amateur. I don't know.
Really?
Yes, they're just I don't know.
Are you trying to say they're worse to talk to than us?
No, that we're.
I think that's where he was going with that, but he didn't want to do the backhand compliment there.
Now, my experience with masters and PhD, they're usually they're concise and they understand me. But undergrad philosophy students are just horrible to talk to. In my experience, I don't know. Because I feel like they've gotten they've like tasted the literature enough to like come up with these ridiculous ideas. And
oh yeah.
It's just one of those disciplines where you get you read a little bit of Plato and Aristotle and it just goes straight to your head. Like
What am I looking at here?
You know what's so funny?
What are we looking at?
What are they?
This is just a bit of John Maddox's stream. I saw him visual. He had a cabbage on the screen, and I thought it kind of looked.
So what's
like
he reviewing of ours?
Yeah, he's reviewing my talk with Ben
Gold.
Oh, he's jealous still. Okay, yeah.
I think he probably is a little butthurt about that one. I don't know.
How do you like being the center of a stream now? It's been a while, huh, Speed?
I don't really care one way or the other.
Oh, don't lie. You love it.
Come on,
no,
Steve.
no.
Don't you have regrets
You
about
mentioned it
Maddox
so
offering
many-
to pay for you to go to like a university and have this like
You mentioned it
very
so many
lavish
times in
debate?
chat, and you're watching it right now as we speak, right?
No, I don't particularly care to be the center of attention for any of those fucks, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
It sort of bothers me. Kind of puts me off.
Okay. I thought you meant it as like you're indifferent, but you're not indifferent. It's bothering you.
Well, bothers me a little bit, but mostly indifferent because they're so goddamn dumb. I mean,
No, you're not indifferent at
they
all.
never say anything that's particularly motivating, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to review it and we'll see. Well, this one might be because he actually gets into specifics. So John has never gotten into specifics before or very little. And so if he does, then I have something to come back against.
So
What's
is
that,
John going to
Erica?
try and posture to a professional that he knows more than the professional does?
Well,
I feel like that's what's about to happen.
I think the little that I
so that I
listened
can
to,
give
he was
him the
pitting
molecular biology exam.
the little that he was doing. I only listened to like 10 or 15 minutes of it. Is he was putting Gould against Speed? He was actually agreeing with So he wasn't
particularly because Gould uses machine-like terminology. You know, machine code and things like that. And that was one of the reasons why.
Do you
I had a
agree with
conversation
Nicholson now that he ought not be using the language, or at least that metaphor?
Oh hell, I've always agreed with Nicholson.
So you think Gould is making a mistake in terms of using?
I think he's making the same mistake that every side. I don't know if you were around when Nicholson told us that he actually went to a conference and he got a lot of pushback from scientists.
I bet.
Because they love their machine analogy, right? They love their
Yeah.
machine and code analogy, and he's getting a little pushback from a lot of them.
Of course.
But the thing is that Galt wasn't even aware of young Earth creationism, and he doesn't even realize that the language is kind of doing us a disfavor these days. So.
You know, I don't think most scientists like really care about it because they're interested in their own. They're interested in their own research and in terms of like what they're trying to achieve. They don't care about these fucktards that are trying to argue this point about 3,000-year-old or 6,000-year-old Earth.
The amazing thing is that Ben Galt is a professor at what is it in Kent, and he wasn't even aware of these young Earth creationists. He hardly even seemed to know what the hell they were.
Well, it's mostly an American issue.
You know what's really funny is that most.
Oh, God.
I'm going to leave with this. Most young Earth creationists don't even know the young Earth creationists.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, we see it with Standing for Truth all the time, right? That he's actually overstepping his bounds, like in terms of like what most professional young Earth creationists try to postulate as models and solutions to their own problems.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
That's his.
To be fair, though, I feel like when he does that, it's usually to fill in the gaps that the professionals have deliberately avoided.
No, I think it's him trying to posture himself as an actual real good defender of young Earth creationism, but he's that has
Oh, Standing.
Okay, bye guys. Yeah,
Hey, later, yeah.
Right.
I think Standing might understand less than Otangelo when it comes to like things about biology and crap like that. It's hard to.
It's a toss up.
It's a hard toss up. It's a rough salad to.
Standing is in it for the money and popularity. I don't think he's in it for anything else. I don't
even
think he believes half of it.
Or he's opened everybody's theory to some extent, because all these different guests he has on have their own little pet theories that they run with. He's going to be open to that because he's platforming all of it. So yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't think Standing will ever settle down on like who to go with, because he doesn't know enough to really like make his own decision on what theory is going to be most substantive for young Earth creation.
Because there isn't one. That's therein lies.
Well, of course there isn't one, but they don't believe that, right? They think that they're going to find one, at some point in time.
Right, but until then, he's forced to basically like a DVD screensaver. He's forced to bounce around the display, hoping, intentionally not settling down or committing to anything, lest that one particular thing get yeeted out the window.
Yeah, the other thing too is like I'm kind of actually excited that Ken is going back to prison again, because now he can't argue that he's not a convicted felon.
Hey guys,
I love it.
What the fuck is going on here on LPP's channel? Is he running like a gardening channel now?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
You can't explain how his turns into
LPP. It seems like LPP might be having an identity crisis since he's been on YouTube, because there's just certain things that are like a little strange.
I don't know what the fuck.
Oh,
is
elaborate!
Going on.
I'm curious. Elaborate.
No, I mean just like this weird like posturing routine he has of like trying to demasculate other men, and like him talking about
he's done that since day one.
His family and his daughter stuff, and it's like I don't know, like there's something going on, man. Like,
is he having an identity crisis, or is that just his identity?
Midlife crisis, maybe. I think he's approaching. What is he?
He might be. He's about. He's near his 40.
Yeah, that happens. Happens to the best of us.
He's found his way to YouTube, and YouTube is endorsing or embracing his insanity.
Do you remember, like, this is kind of mean of me. I don't know if I should go down this rabbit hole.
No, go ahead. Fuck it.
You're too late.
There was a time period where he like recorded from this greenhouse or a covered pool or something in this Airbnb he was renting. And he like gave that big long spiel about how he was about to launch into using his, I'm paraphrasing of course, but entrepreneurial skills to help the ID community and all this shit.
Right.
Like, what happened to that? I imagine
Well,
he reached out to the orgs and they were like, "No, we're good," and that really sucks.
No, we're okay. We don't need Florida Man 2.0 funding our efforts. Thank you.
Okay,
Like, I think Thor's doing okay by himself. He doesn't need John's help.
No, I don't think Thor needs him.
He was going to move to Florida.
Oh, thank God he didn't. Thank you, fucking God he
was
didn't.
going to move to Florida, and something fell through, and he ended up staying where he is. So the whole thing, and I don't know what the hell that greenhouse thing was about, but that was like an announcement that he was going to like go on this different direction, and I think he was going to move there and get like a studio. I have no idea. And then he started talking about this weird ass fucking truck that he bought and remodeled, and I started at first I thought, okay, he's going to use the truck as a studio, but then the story got weirder after that, and somebody said, I think David said, he was actually living in that truck for a moment. I don't know.
I don't doubt that, because the thing is, right? I've been confused.
And then his car fell in a hole. His Prius fell in a fucking hole.
Oh,
the story just gets weirder and weirder, you know? It's like, I mean, how the fuck?
Lord.
Like the earth opened up and tried to swallow Maddox. I mean,
I guess so.
And he's always talking about these messages and these coincidences. I mean, if the earth opened up and tried to swallow me, I would look at that as, maybe I should consider what direction I'm going in.
You know it's illegal to like own a Prius and unironically call someone a soy boy, right? Like that's actually
I know.
Yeah.
It's there's some irony in there.
That's just not,
I still remember the time like where he had to ask, where essentially Jungle Jargon had to buy him a new laptop.
I'm not even gonna. Honestly, that rabbit hole goes so deep. The John Maddox lore is too
Really?
deep
What
for me.
happened? Hold on. Now I'm curious. What is there some like pretext to that? What happened?
No. I'm commenting on this conversation we're having right now because I've heard many of the same things, and I also heard that he like broke his ankle at one point, and then he posted this Bizarro Town community post about something that earlier today popped up on my feed. Something about how 2 years ago today, something about the business, he can't restart the business.
Oh yeah.
And it's such
I saw that too.
weird, like Twilight Zone-y plot. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to know, honestly. The less I know about John Maddox, the better.
Boys and girls, can we shoot this in the head and maybe talk backstage for a while about all that?
Is there something that happened?
Well, no, I'm not. You know, it's just that maybe we should compare notes here. But,
Tea time?
but anyway, I'd like to
Okay,
shoot
sure.
it in the head anyway. So
Yeah,
is that
that's
okay?
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah, I think we've done enough damage for the night. So I'm
I
going to end
think
the
we're just getting
stream
started.
and please hang around. Okay.
All right,
Okay.
see ya.
What am I doing? Anyway.